Today I'm going to review The Attention Merchants. The Epic Scramble to Get Inside Our Heads by Tim Wu. So this is the third book by Tim Wu that I've read. The other books I read were The Curse of Bigness, which is about the decline of antitrust enforcement. And then the last book I reviewed of his was The Master Switch, which was about the history of information empires in the U.S., like radio and television and internet, things like that. And this book is about the history of the buying and selling of attention, really advertising. But the history of advertising, as told through this book, isn't really so much about advertisers or like the content of the ads. It's more about the technology behind advertising, like, what technologies enabled companies to grab hold of attention and capture that attention, and then how they figured out to resell that attention later on. It's a really fascinating story, and the whole time, all the stories, no matter how old they are, they always feel relevant. And some of the stories are pretty old. The book starts back in the 1800s, 1830s, with early newspapers. Well, early versions of modern newspapers. I don't know how long ago newspapers started, but this book starts in the 1830s, and it just goes kind of innovation by innovation and tracks all the developments in the kind of buying and selling of attention. I enjoyed this book a lot, and I think it's probably my favorite book from this author. I thought this book, more than his other books, was really relevant to today. This book is a great view at how the attention harvesting industry has transformed over time and how things got so extreme. Today, advertisers use really sophisticated technology and algorithms to track data and just mine our lives to find, the tiniest little unit of attention that they can resell to some advertiser. And this book gives you a great view of how that industry became so sophisticated and how so much money got drawn in to the industry. And really, it contrasts, early people with modern people. And you see just how accustomed we've become to just the onslaught of ads. So there was this time back when radio was popular where the people in the industry thought that audiences wouldn't stand to hear advertisements inside their own home. They thought that was some line that humans wouldn't cross. Hearing an advertisement inside your house. And just compare that historical reality with where we are today. I think most people probably grew up with television and just the onslaught of ads there. And then you watch the internet take off and you just how many more ads we got and how sophisticated they've become and how personalized they've become. This book really just exposes the insane change in the attention harvesting industries and how that's kind of manipulated everything around us. So I really like this book a lot. I think most people should probably read this book. It was eerily relevant to today. But while the book was really good, while the history was really good and the subject matter is amazing, the big downside to this book is that, like he does in his other books, he gives a lot of history and a lot of stories, but he really doesn't give much analysis or kind of further digging, or, he doesn't give recommendations, or he doesn't propose any solutions to this problem. This book is really just here's this crazy story of how the world's changed, and it looks pretty messed up right now. And that's kind of where the book ends up, or leaves off. He says this is kind of messed up and we should deal with it. But, there's not a lot of strong recommendations for how we can battle all the companies that are harvesting our attention. So when you read it and you get to the end of the book, you really feel that lack of analysis. But I think that the rest of the book was so good, I still really enjoyed it. And I think other people should read this book. But be aware, you're going to have to think about this a lot more on your own, or, find other books to give maybe more concrete recommendations for what we could really do about this, how we could fight back. There's a lot of other books, especially about technology, that are relevant to social media and how our attention is harvested that way. But this book really covers, print advertisements and film and just a whole host of other types of media. And they kind of all combine to create this just onslaught of advertisements that we see all day, every day. This book definitely made me think a lot about what I can stomach personally as far as ads, and whether or not I should really try harder to not see this content, or if I could get away from it, because you really, after reading this book, you feel like that whole advertising industry is just so slimy. And we always knew that advertisers were slimy, but it's really, in this book, it's not the people who are paying for ads that are slimy. It's not Coca-Cola trying to get you to buy Coke. Those companies come off as, very they're open about what they're doing. They're selling you a product, so that doesn't feel sleazy. It's the platforms that harvest your attention and resell it that really come across as the sleazy people in this book, because they're the ones that are manipulating the whole world just to maximize the amount of attention that they can get from you and then resell it. But the fact that there's people that want to buy that attention isn't slimy. So I think this book really shifted the perspective from, the people buying advertising to the people who are harvesting attention and selling the advertisements. They're the real kind of bad actors in this whole story. So if you're interested in that story and, getting that kind of information, definitely pick this book up and give it a read, because it provides a whole host of historical perspective that I think a lot of people would really enjoy today. So I hope you guys like this review. I've got more reviews coming soon, so like, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.